Many Americans do not realize that the United States government is among the largest holders of Bitcoin. Does anyone know that?
Donald Trump just secured the deal of a lifetime, officially finalizing a partnership with Crypto.com to launch ETFs. And currently, Bitcoin is above $91,000, breaking out the past 2 days, leaving everyone to wonder what is going to happen for XRP as XRP lags behind. Well, in this video, we have to talk about a deal that has been finalized between Ripple and the US government, the SEC doing a complete 180-degree turn for their view on crypto with a new chair. We're talking about the Bitcoin to the stock to flow model and where we are in this macro market cycle compared to the past, the expectations for the entire altcoin market over the next few weeks as we break out from this downtrend, and the expectations for Bitcoin with this breakout right now compared back to the past. So that way you can see confluence for what's most likely to happen next, so you can make as much money as possible. Because in my video yesterday, we talked about this breakout that would come for the altcoin market based on the global liquidity offset, and we are just seeing the tip of the iceberg right now for trillions that are going to flow into the crypto market. So will this recovery be a fake out and a continuation to the downside, or is this just the start of a breakout to a new all-time high? All of which we're going to talk about in this video. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and as always, if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it.
How about that? The federal government has almost 210,000 Bitcoin, or 1% of the total supply that will ever exist. But for too long, our government has violated the cardinal rule that every Bitcoiner knows by heart. Never sell your Bitcoin, right? That's right, isn't it, huh? That's right. How did I figure that one? Never sell your Bitcoin. And so, as the final part of my plan today, I am announcing that if I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile. As you know,
so it's been several months since Trump was elected, and he made the announcement about the strategic stockpile for the government to hold Bitcoin. And we've seen one of the steepest pullbacks in crypto history of about 30+%. And altcoins bled out even more. But if we look back to the past few cycles, even going back to this current cycle from 2023, we see the chart pattern playing out somewhat similar multiple times. So for confluence here, if you guys look back to July of 2023, all the way until September of 2023, when Bitcoin saw a sell-off of about 21%, what we generally see happen when the markets break out and then experience a pullback like this is there's a key zone of support that then gets flipped and turned into resistance before the price inevitably breaks out higher and forms a new high during a bull market. So the real question everyone wants to know is this breakout going to last, and are we going to go into a new all-time high for Bitcoin, or will this be a massive bull trap that sends the price lower? Let's talk about it in this video, because as you guys can see, this downtrend on the right-hand side of the screen where Bitcoin has been putting in lower highs ever since the 19th of January, we've just been getting rejected from this descending resistance. Bitcoin recently broke above it on the 12th of April and was just consolidating on top of it, and recently has broken out. Now, I talked about this in a previous video where I mentioned how Total 2 would shortly follow because we're due for a breakout because of how steep we've pulled back, how long we've been pulling back for, and how we've been oversold on key indicators like the stochastic RSI in the weekly, the relative strength index, the MACD, etc. And simultaneously, we see gold breaking out to a new all-time high, and gold tends to lead the rally before that flows into Bitcoin. On top of that, when we look at the gold supply versus the Bitcoin supply, gold production is increasing into demand, whereas Bitcoin production is decreasing into demand, which is extremely bullish. And looking at gold versus Bitcoin's market cap, well, gold has a market cap of 22 trillion, Bitcoin is at 1.7 trillion. So it's painfully obvious how much higher Bitcoin is going to go over the coming years, because as the Federal Reserve and the Treasury continue to debase the US dollar, well, regardless of short-term volatility, that just leads to more opportunity to risk on asset classes like, precious metals and the crypto market. So with us pushing into this zone of resistance, like I just mentioned, when we look back at the support right here from July of 2023 until August of 2023, when this support on the left-hand side of the screen broke to the downside, we saw a massive sell-off from the $30,000 region all the way down to about $25,000. We lost $5,000 in value over the course of a few days. And the same thing happened on the right-hand side of the screen. You guys can see the support right here at about $90,000 that Bitcoin held from the end of November all the way until this breakdown at the end of February right here, where Bitcoin dropped 18% in less than a week. So we saw a similar breakdown, which then flipped this zone from support into resistance. And Trump announced the strategic stockpile around March right here. Bitcoin's price shot all the way back up to $94,000, a little bit higher than this support, but was rejected immediately. And then as you can see, bounced one more time to like 92,000 and then fell down to 76, and since has not reclaimed that zone until now. So we're at a very pivotal point for Bitcoin, and I'm going to explain how this could play out in a few different scenarios here. So pay close attention, because on the left-hand side of the screen, when the price broke down to $25,000, we ranged between $25K and $28,000 for roughly 61 days, 2 months before we broke that resistance and flipped it before rallying all the way up here to about $34,000 as the price just experienced volatility but continued to march higher, making higher lows and higher highs. So since the breakdown for Bitcoin on the 28th of February, we're currently about 53 days beneath the $90,000 support that's now resistance. And if Bitcoin does not clear the zone of support and hold it, then a likely scenario to take place over the next few weeks for Bitcoin is similar to what we saw happen right here on the left-hand side of the screen, and for Bitcoin to just consolidate in range between $74,000 to where we're at right now. Now, the low right here at about $74,000 is very similar to what we saw happen back here when Bitcoin saw this final low right here at about $25,000. And this was a bullish divergence because we are experiencing a lower low on the price chart. But as you can see on the MACD here on the left-hand side of the screen, we were experiencing a higher low, which is the same thing that we saw on the right-hand side of the screen that I talked about in a previous video. How since this breakdown brought Bitcoin to about $78,000 for Bitcoin to this lower low right here to $74,000, we saw the MACD experience a higher low and it continuously trends higher. So this is a major reversal signal, but it doesn't mean we're out of the woods yet, because we're at this key zone of resistance right here, very similar to when Bitcoin rallied back up to about $28,000. We saw a pullback, but the price chart just continuously put in higher lows. So I talked about this over the past few days on my expectations, and I expect Bitcoin to experience a pullback at some point and for us to experience the first higher low. Now, whether that is below the $90,000 resistance right here and we get rejected from it, or let's say we push up a little bit higher and we consolidate on top of this resistance as support before doing something like this, I would expect there to be a pullback at some point within the next 30 to 60 days for Bitcoin. So for people right now that are entering into the market on this rally expecting Bitcoin to just rocket right up to $100,000, that's not how these markets work. Although anything's possible. Hey, sure, maybe we come up to $100,000, then we experience the pullback up here above this zone. That's why we look for confluence to the past, because how this played out from August of 2023 until October of 2023 before the breakout lasted roughly 60 days. And if we look back from 2020 to 2021's bull run, we saw a similar pattern play out. Once Bitcoin topped out right here at about $12,400, we saw it consolidate above support at about $11,000 until we saw this major breakdown happen in a matter of a few days down to about $9,000. And then we saw a bullish divergence take place, where we were seeing lower lows get put in on the price chart, but on the relative strength index for this indicator, we were seeing higher lows forming here on the 4-hour chart. But on the right-hand side of the screen, if I were to switch to the 4-hour chart, you can also see that we formed a bullish divergence for a lower low on the price chart, but but yet a higher low on the relative strength index. So with this bullish divergence taking place on the relative strength index on the left-hand side of the screen, well, the price chart bounced off of 9,800, came back into this zone right here at about $11,000 as resistance, got rejected from it, and then put in higher lows before breaking the resistance right here on the 10th of October and holding it as support. So this is another scenario that could play out for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin breaks this key resistance at the top of the screen right here, well, it would need to hold it as support to give me confidence that this just isn't a short-term rally that would inevitably get rejected from this resistance over the next few days. Because looking at the relative strength index on the 4-hour, we're at 81 right now in overbought conditions. And as you can see on the left-hand side of the screen, when Bitcoin broke out from the low of $9,000 and rallied up to, $11,200 right within this region right here, you can see the relative strength index breached above 70 in overbought conditions before reversing back to the downside to form a higher low. And then the RSI pulled all the way back here to 30. So there is an area of caution right now because with the relative strength index at 81 in overbought conditions and also Bitcoin rallying into this resistance, I would expect there to be a pullback at some point here. Now, whether Bitcoin rallies up to 93, 95, or gets rejected from where we're at right now, we will see. But I think this is going to take a little bit longer to play out than everyone thinks. And we're going to range for the next few weeks, putting in a higher low before we break this resistance, hold it as support, and then continue higher. I inevitably think Bitcoin is going higher, but this is what I'm expecting right here. Some type of pullback in the short term, whether it's above this resistance or below it, we will see. But on the stochastic RSI right here on the daily chart, you can see the K line's at 99.99 and the D line is at 98.78. We are in overbought conditions on the daily, which is not the best sign to be entering right now on these massive bullish candles for Bitcoin, up 10% over the past couple days. And if we look back here from January of 2024, when Bitcoin pulled back from $49,000 all the way down to $38,000, this was a quicker recovery out of these lows. But as you can see, when the stochastic RSI was all the way down here below 20, that was the best time to be accumulating Bitcoin when we were in oversold conditions. Bitcoin's price was at $38,000. So that's when there was the most fear. We were talking about that all the way down here about how people were getting obliterated with this pullback. But when you look at these indicators, you can see we are in oversold conditions. So now that we are in overbought conditions, it is not smart to be buying Bitcoin right now into this rally. Now, that's not financial advice. That's just common sense. But common sense isn't so common anymore. Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. And full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it. We need to see how Bitcoin responds to this zone of resistance, very similar to what happened right here by the 26th of January. We saw this little micro pullback for Bitcoin from $42,000 to about $41,000. And then we saw how the stochastic RSI played out, experiencing bearish crosses and bullish crosses above 80. So this was one scenario where the price broke out and then held on top of resistance as support, but experienced massive volatility and massive price swings, still above this key zone around $41,000. And then we just coiled up in this symmetrical triangle before breaking to the upside. So patience here is your best friend, because with the stochastic RSI all the way up here above 80, we don't know if we're going to go sideways on the stochastic RSI, experiencing bullish crosses and bearish crosses like we did all the way back here for an extended period of time, while the price is just choppy in this region above this resistance, doing something similar to what we saw happen right here at the end of January of 2024, where we see a little micro pullback followed by another rally above, with a bigger pullback, another rally above, and then some type of macro consolidation for either a symmetrical triangle, rising wedge, falling wedge, whatever this consolidation phase looks like. What I would want to see is a reset on the daily stochastic RSI all the way down here, back below 20, while the price is consolidating either above this key zone as support, or even if we pull back right now, above the local low right here on the 6th of April, like I just mentioned, putting in a higher low. So those are the two scenarios that play out. We either pull back right now and we just consolidate within this range, or we rally a little bit higher, experience some choppiness, and then consolidate on top of this resistance at roughly like $92,000 as support, similar to what happened back here. Then I'm going to watch for the stochastic RSI to reset all the way back down below 20 for a better entry point. Because as you guys can see right here, when Bitcoin rallied all the way above this resistance to $43,000, people were entering in when we were seeing a bearish divergence, because the price was forming a higher high from 42,000 to 43,000, whereas the stochastic RSI pulled back drastically all the way down here to 24, bounced all the way back up, and then put in a lower high right here by the 30th of January. That was a textbook bearish divergence, like what we even went through on the macro scale. And then we consolidated. So this pullback right here for the third time to about $41,000 is when I would have entered into Bitcoin. In fact, I was actually accumulating some crypto and some altcoins at that point. The stochastic RSI was all the way down here below 20 when Bitcoin's price was back testing this zone for the third time, which was a great entry point at about $41,000. And sure, you're buying higher than buying $39,000, but now you at least have confirmation of a trend reversal rather than just buying into a resistance right here when the stochastic RSI in the daily is in drastically overbought conditions. So we're going to watch the stochastic RSI on the daily. We're going to wait for a reset, and then we're going to revisit it on this channel. So make sure you guys subscribe, you like this video for more. But here's a big macro indicator that tells us we're going higher. Global M2 versus Bitcoin when they're paired up, not based on a 60-day or 70-day or 100-day offset. Global liquidity is a leading indicator. And with global liquidity breaking out higher, whereas Bitcoin has been lagging behind, this is a great sign that Bitcoin is going to continue to rally into the end of the year. But what about Total 2? Well, stick to the end of this video. We're going to discuss Bitcoin's dominance and how that relates to Total 2 and what is expected over the next few weeks, because if Bitcoin continues to rally higher, then that will bleed into Total 2, and I would expect Total 2 to see a breakout much further than where it's at right now, above $1 trillion, because right now we're at like $995 trillion. So just looking at the price chart alone, if we remove the stochastic RSI, you can see similar to Bitcoin, we've been in a downtrend since December, and then this descending resistance right here since January is very obvious, putting in lower highs and lower lows until the recent local low on the 7th of April. And so now that we're breaking above this descending resistance, we're still in a downtrend until we inevitably clear $1.1 trillion. And so what I would expect to happen for Total 2 is for us to grind in between this resistance here and $950-ish billion coiling up, doing something like this until Bitcoin makes a decisive move above where we're at right now, holding it as support. Otherwise, I just expect Total 2 to range in between 1.1 trillion and $950 billion, putting in higher lows on this recovery rally right here going into May. Because looking at Bitcoin's stock to flow model right now, when we look at the days until the next halving, we're roughly yellow right now going from orange. So we're between 1,000 to 1,200 days still until the next halving. And if we go back to the previous, or the cycle before last cycle, 2017 cycle, when we went from orange to yellow, we saw a pullback, volatility, and then going to light yellow to light green, we saw a massive breakout back to the stock to flow line of about $3,000. So currently we are below the stock to flow line by the tune of $368,000. And with the current price at about $91,000, $368,000 is a long ways away. Now, do I think Bitcoin's going to make it to $360,000 anytime soon? No. We need the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates, shift from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing. start adding to their balance sheet. On top of that, we need global liquidity to just keep continuing higher. But based on the last few cycles, we don't top out until we reach light green. So it's a good sign that we're not at light green yet, because otherwise that would be a massive red flag here. Whereas we're right where we should be when Bitcoin starts breaking out. That's a good sign. Another great sign and a bullish indicator is what's happening with the SEC. Paul Atkins has officially been sworn in as the SEC chairman, and he was nominated by Donald Trump January 20th of 2025. He was just confirmed by the US Senate April 9th, and now he's been sworn in as of yesterday. So the SEC in the United States is officially a pro-crypto administration, a big 180-degree turn from Gary Gensler's reign on terror on the crypto industry, specifically with Ripple. And all of this happening around the same time as Brad Garlinghouse, Stuart Alderati meeting with Trump. And he made this post that I thought was very interesting back in January. We talked about it in a previous video, but Brad said, "Great dinner last night with real Donald Trump and Stuart." And Stuart responds by saying, "And to top it off, the beef bourguignon was really good." Why would he say ... and to top it off, the beef bourguignon was really good? Well, beef bourguignon is often used as a metaphor to symbolize a successful business deal, particularly French business culture, where serving this dish as a dinner signifies the closing of a significant contract due to its association with high-end dining and the celebratory nature of the rich, slow-cooked dish. Well, coincidentally enough, Trump came out shortly after this and said they were adding XRP, Solana, ADA to a strategic reserve. So clearly they made a deal at this dinner. Clearly they talked about this. And what's happening right now with Bitcoin is a leading indicator for what's to come for XRP, because as you guys can see, in this downtrend, in January where Bitcoin was forming lower highs, well, XRP was just doing the same thing, forming lower highs. And then this liquidation event down here was in the exact same day to $1.50 with the tariff news in April. And then we're rebounding out of here with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's just moving faster and it's moving first, which is normal. There's a major resistance right here at $2.24 for XRP. If we clear this resistance, the next stop is around $2.50. So similar to what Bitcoin is going through right now, breaking out into this zone right here, that would be like a breakout for XRP into this zone right here. So in my opinion, it's not a question of if XRP is going higher, because at any moment now, Paul Atkins from the SEC could come out at any moment and just basically saying they're dropping the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit. I would expect there to be some good news coming out of that, and that to send XRP's price higher alongside Bitcoin. But I do expect to take longer to get past $3 once Bitcoin does experience its pullback, whether that pullback happens now at this resistance or Bitcoin just sees some volatility on top of this resistance, doing something similar to what I just showed you guys in January of 2024, coiling up right here. Inevitably, when we look at Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart on the monthly compared to M2 global liquidity, well, when global liquidity started to break out after the 1st of February of 2020, during that initial breakout into a new high, we actually saw the Black Swan event take place. And that following month, was a pullback in the crypto market. And then that global liquidity rotated into crypto as it continued higher. So we've seen a breakout right here on the 1st of December in global liquidity. And shortly after that, what did we just see happen? Well, we saw a pullback in the crypto market while global liquidity breaks out. So if global liquidity just continues higher, eventually that is going to bleed into Bitcoin, and then that is going to bleed into the altcoin market. So good news is that we have not seen a bearish cross right here on the MACD. Although the MACD line did experience a little bit of a pullback, we do see global liquidity as a leading indicator compared to the last bull run cycle. Because even right here, from the 1st of October until the 1st of January, global liquidity broke out, whereas the crypto market pulled back. And then that global liquidity right here from the bear market low caught up to the crypto market by the 1st of June of 2019. And then we just went sideways for global liquidity, and we went sideways / down for the crypto market. You can see this breakout right here from the 1st of April of 2024 to the 1st of September 2024 for global liquidity. Took a while to hit the crypto market. From August until December is when it hit the crypto market. So now that the next breakout is coming, well, what does that mean for crypto? It means Bitcoin's most likely going to go higher, and simultaneously Bitcoin's dominance continues to climb higher. So one thing that's interesting is we have not seen a break down in Bitcoin's dominance. So comparing back to the last cycle, when you guys remember Bitcoin pulling back, or the whole crypto market pulling back from 1.5 trillion to about $500 billion right here, that was when Bitcoin's dominance had already dropped to 39% on that pullback. So we're more comparable to this point in the cycle right here from last bull run to like November to December of 2020, because total 2, or the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, is still below the previous high of 2021 on this pullback right here. And Bitcoin's dominance is still making higher lows and higher highs. We are not at this stage right here where the dominance had broken down to about 39% and total 2 was making a new all-time high. We're not there. So it's very interesting, the differences here. But the real key to understand is when Bitcoin's dominance experiences its peak, at some point, this will roll around to the downside. Now, when that happens, my guess would be closer to the end of this year when we see the final run in altcoins as Bitcoin's dominance breaks down. But I think Bitcoin is going to be the leader of the show over the next few months until at least the dominance tops out and breaks this ascending support. So it's anyone's guess where the dominance will top out at, but last bull run, it topped out at about 73%. So maybe we rally up to 73% if Bitcoin breaks all the way upwards of $100,000, $130,000, $150,000. It would be crazy coincidence, right? If Bitcoin's breaking upwards into price discovery again. But even with the top out from Bitcoin's dominance right here from the 1st of September 2020 until Bitcoin topped out at like 72% dominance by the 1st of December, we even saw a bounce in the altcoin market after that pullback through the summer back to the complacency stage high right here on the 1st of May. Now, interestingly enough, the complacency stage high for the altcoin market is on the 1st of November, which is the B wave in this A, B, C corrective wave to the bottom. The B wave can be higher than the 5th Elliott wave in the impulse waves. Whereas right here from the 1st of January, when the Elliott waves were completed, this was the A wave right here. The B wave was the complacency stage high, which was resistance, and then the C wave all the way down here. So we rallied all the way up into resistance by the 1st of December. We didn't really break into price discovery on the monthly, and we pulled back right now. So in my opinion, we're more similar to where we were by like October 2020 to December if this bull market is not yet over. It's just taken longer, this bull run cycle, for it to happen. Whereas from the C wave bottom back here on the 1st of December of 2018, I mean, we broke the complacency stage high 762 days into the cycle. Whereas this current cycle, depending on where you're measuring the C wave, I mean, it could be measured on the 1st of June, or we measure it in November or in December right here, because it's pretty much an equal low. Let's say we just measure from December of 2022, we're about 852 days in. So a little bit further in this bull run cycle than the previous cycle. But in my opinion, if Bitcoin's dominance continues to rally up closer to 70%, I think we would still see a bounce in the altcoin market either way, just because money would be flowing out of stablecoins like USDT, USDC into Bitcoin. And then some of that liquidity is obviously going to trickle into the altcoin market. And if M2 keeps breaking out, that just means more liquidity is coming into crypto to raise the tide of all ships. So if you want to be prepared over the next few months, I highly recommend going through our classroom inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link in the description below. We have over 100 plus expert curated videos here. We just dropped our technical analysis essentials course to help you guys become better traders, so you can have a strong foundation on how to read candlesticks, bullish and bearish patterns, moving averages, EMAs, SMAs, understanding key indicators like the RSI, the MACD, Bollinger Bands, Fibonacci tools, etc. There's 28 videos in here, and you guys are going to absolutely love it. All you need to do to get access to it is click the link in the description below. It'll take you to a page that looks like this, where you're going to get our Altcoin Secrets book for free. You just click the button on the page, put in your best email address right here, and click send my free ebook so we know where to send it. And that's going to take you to the thank you page that looks like this. The book's being sent to your inbox, and while you wait for the book to arrive, I want you to watch this new video that I just released for you guys explaining everything that's inside of Altcoin Pro University. It's only $97. We have a 14-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't get any results or you're unhappy for whatever reason, then there's no risk here. Just ask for your money back within 14 days. But I know you guys are going to love it. And if you're not ready to get started with Altcoin Pro and go through all those 100 plus videos, then join our free Telegram right here. Just click this link. It'll pop up here. We have close to 12,000 members in the group right now that have been taking advantage of this pullback and accumulating some of the top altcoin picks that we've been sharing inside of Altcoin Pro University. To get access to those, all you do is click more right here on the community section, and you guys are going to see altcoin picks on top of airdrop picks, DeFi yield picks, among other stuff like crypto news, community picks from other members inside of our communities. You can ask your questions, get your answers from our research team, and you can connect with other members by clicking on the map right here. We have people from all across the world. It's optional if you guys want to leave your location on. You don't have to if you want to remain anonymous and keep your privacy. But if you want to connect with other people in your area and you turn it on, you can come in here and you can see how many people are in your area, whether you're in the United States or you're globally. Like we have people over in Europe. We even have people over in Uzbekistan right here, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. We got people in Dubai, United Kingdom, you name it. So check it out through the link in the description below. I know you guys are going to love it. Our goal is to set the gold standard in crypto education, and I believe that we can do it with your help. So I appreciate you for watching this video. I will see you on the next video. You know what we're going to be doing. We're backing up our truck all the way to the bank. Beep, beep, beep. Boom, backing into the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to keep going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation, blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies over time are going up in value. That's the truth. And together, we're all running to the top. I will see you guys on the next video. I will see you through the link in the description below. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.